I'm going to bring Brad over here, who's going to walk me through a demonstration of how they use this device to get inside of a car. And in fact, I'm going to kick it on right now so you can see exactly what fire crews go through on the scene of a crash. Well, Bridget and Owen, it all happened in a matter of minutes. Police say a man walked into this bank pointing a gun and demanding cash. They then have reason to believe he made it across the street behind several businesses and then down onto the Billy Wolf Trail. I'm standing in the parking lot where one of the attacks happened. Now, this attack does have fewer clues, but police believe they've narrowed down the suspect in one incident that happened in broad daylight. The owner of Capital City Refuse says one of his truck drivers was on 27th Street when they slammed into a cement truck. He was knocked out cold, but his garbage truck didn't stop as it approached an intersection. Drivers will come down Old Cheney from Highway 77, and once they get here, they'll either try to flip a U-turn or cut through the neighborhood behind me. The only problem is there's nowhere for them to go, and nearby homeowners want to make that clear. Officers responded to this house just over my shoulder around 5:15 p.m. this evening to reports of a shooting. One witness who lives nearby in the area tells me he saw a man in his late teens to early 20s being taken from the house to the hospital. Support and sympathies for the family of Tech Sergeant Joseph Lem, a 15-year New York police veteran, are pouring in from New York to Nebraska. Those who knew him describe him as a selfless public servant who dedicated his life to protecting others. Anyone that's driven through Lincoln during the day knows that you'll probably hit regular stoplights and congestion. It's all part of living in a city. Somehow, troopers say Nielsen navigated it all without causing serious injuries or destruction. The weather is sometimes no friend of construction crews, and as December gets closer, it's about time for workers to wrap up some of their projects for the season. And that includes one street which caused several headaches for some homeowners. The Lincoln East cross-country team still had an invitational to compete in this afternoon. The same day, many of them found out their beloved coach had died. Many ran with heavy hearts, but didn't face this difficult trial alone.
They understood that my wife loved them and cared about them. And they loved her.
Brian Kaborik, Andrea's husband, wondered if coming to today's meet was the right thing to do.
My wife's kind of a feisty individual, and had I not come out, she would have been pretty irritated with me.
He spoke to the team before the contest, relaying a message of solidarity.
We're going to be chasing a white line in the race to get to the finish, and you know, in life, you got to keep moving forward. You can't stop, you can't move backwards, you just got to keep moving forward.
This was Andrea this past summer. The imprint she left is as emotional as it is visual. The team writing her favorite mantra, I can, I will, on their bodies before the race, teaching them to fight to the finish.
She literally loved this team. I mean, she enjoyed coming out.
Lincoln Southeast, Andrea's alma mater, offered their support too, breaking out the same jerseys she wore in the early 90s.
Let the people of East particularly know that hey, we're thinking about her, and and she's a part of the Southeast history as well. And so it's kind of nice to see that two schools can come together like this.
Though her students race without her today, the way Andrea Kaborik lived her life will always cheer them on.
It's that feisty attitude and how she was as a teacher, a coach, a student, a college runner, a high school runner. I think that's the message she tried to get out. That this is what you need to do. Go out and do it.
Well, Bridget and Owen, from Christmas lights to inflatables to the new hot item, laser lights. Yards full of these have become hunting grounds that police say are difficult to protect.
Back against the tree.
Lisa Westland shows us where one of her family's 2 laser lights were taken out of the yard.
We had only had them for 5 days, so that was probably the most frustrating part of it.
The lights look like this, replacing more traditional decor. She says hers went missing last week while her husband was at home.
He was sitting in the living room watching TV and noticed that the lights went out outside, and when he ran outside, he saw someone running away with the Christmas lights.
They're now without lights, totaling $80.
But I'm sure they're being sold since you can't buy them in Lincoln. So if somebody wants to steal something just to turn around and sell it, it makes me very angry.
Police say 5 crime reports have come from Northeast Lincoln and 2 in Northwest Lincoln. 10 reports have come from Southeast Lincoln, several within a couple-mile radius of 40th and Pine Lake. For Lisa, she says the laser lights are sold out across Lincoln, but she's also not sure she even wants more.
I don't really trust that they would stay in the yard. I think they would get taken probably again.
As someone who lives in the area, I know firsthand how congested the highway can be there on just a normal day. Now, NDOR says on top of lane closures, they plan to close the southbound on-ramp from the end of March through August. And that is perhaps the greatest frustration for drivers. This is the on-ramp that's closing, heading south from West O. A daily route for thousands, including Lonnie Schrader, the Rhino Stop gas station owner off 20th and West O.
That would add an extra at least 10 minutes to my commute every day. So if I'm here 5 days a week, that's almost an hour a week.
It's also the quickest way to get to the closest major grocery store, Russ's Market off South Coddington.
If we're going to close that, that's a major inconvenience. Goodness sakes, I mean, what are we supposed to do? Like you said, go clear down there and go back over? That's crazy.
I wanted to see for myself. Starting at West O, I went south on Highway 77 and timed the route to Russ's Market. Then I took the other two routes NDOR suggests, going to Northwest 48th Street to I-80 and next trying downtown to Rosa Parks Way. When it was all said and done, here's how it panned out. To go from about 20th and West O Streets to the Russ's Market here, about 3.5 minutes. Then to go up to Northwest 48th Street and loop around using the interstate, that took about 8.5 minutes. And then to go downtown and use Rosa Parks Way heading west, that took about 10 minutes. Until I finally parked. Rush hour will likely make these times even longer.
I guess I realize there's nothing I can do about it, so I'll just deal with it, but it's a little frustrating.
Everybody get into a routine of, okay, I go over here and this is what I do. You get used to picking up things at a certain place. Well, then you got to completely change your routine. You know, it's like, really?